Hi, it's me, Kisma. Today we're going to create the owl and the girl. So here are the products that you're going to be using in this session. The first thing we're going to do is choose the pages we want to work on and gesso them. Gesso is a wonderful primer for our pages and a tool that you will use often. I will use it as white paint. So go ahead and gesso your pages. I often use a Liquitex. In fact, that's the one I use now, the acrylic gesso, because it's just so wonderful and it spreads so nicely over our pages. And you can use watercolor, graphite, oil, which I never use oil, crayons, pastels, gouache, so many different products on it. And it has a wonderful finish to it. I use a 2-inch utility brush to spread my gesso. Once you do that, you need to let it dry for this project. So let it dry, use a dryer if you want, and then get ready. I use a graphite pencil and an artist eraser just to begin to sketch out what I want to draw on the page. What I use is a Stabilo graphic pencil, which will smear nicely when I want to shade it in. But we'll talk about that in a minute. However, I take time to really find the location for the head that I'm going to just sketch in lightly. And you can see I'm putting mine on the right side of the page, kind of mid-page-ish to the left. But you can put it on the left side of the page. It's really up to you. But just go ahead and sketch your head, kind of an oval shape. Do it lightly. Don't worry about multiple lines. That'll all blend in once we begin painting. I'm going to show you the outline diagram for making a face, and that's coming up. The main thing to remember about face portions is about halfway in the head are the eyes, and then from the eyes to the chin, halfway is the bottom of the nose, and from the bottom of the nose, halfway to the chin is the bottom lip. Those are the proportions you want to consider when you draw in your face. And at this point, just lightly find the locations and sketch them in. Two really important things. The eye space between is the length of an eye, and also the edges of the nose line up with the insides of the eye, and then the outer edges of the lips fall about mid-eye. So that gives you normal proportions. I'm going to tell you I'm really bad at drawing lips, so mine are always misshaped, so don't look at my lips. Once you have the basic marks for your face, then go ahead and begin to detail them in. Something worth noting, when you draw your eye, don't fully draw it. Just kind of sketch edges and the pupil or the irises and a little mark for the pupil. The eye will fill in what you don't. The other thing I've learned is it's okay not to be perfect. In fact, imperfection is better. So one eye, when you look at people, they're not equal sizes. One can be smaller. The same thing with the lips. They can be crooked. They can, have an imperfection in them. So don't get caught up in having identical eyes or perfect features. A good practice is to hold your pencil back and lightly. Don't grip it, but allow your hand to be relaxed when you're sketching. Now we begin with the owl head. So just, you're not drawing a realistic owl, so don't worry about it being perfect. Just go ahead and mark it in, sketch it in, and you'll paint the rest in. And as for its body, trace it in. It's kind of sideways. The body's sideways, and it's turning its head looking at us. That's the angle. Go ahead and now put in her neck and her shoulders, and we're kind of just fleshing in. Don't worry about details at this point. Just sketch, lightly sketching. Now I'm giving her a high collar cape that she's wearing because she is outdoors, and as you can see from the way I've kind of placed her hair, it's windy. She's out on the heath. This isn't a modern girl. It's maybe a 19th century girl. I've really gotten into watching a lot of Jane Austen because of an online class I was taking with Lowly Mills, and so everything has been about Dear Jane. And in fact, this journal that I'm working in are all from that era, or I'm trying to create things all from that era. Okay, now let's give her some hair. Her hair is loose, it's flying, some curly cues here and there. And she has undone hair, so it's long and it's caught in the wind and it's whipping out around her. And we'll continue her hair onto the left side of the page. Now you can do any kind of hair you want. You can put it up in a bun, you can have it in a braid. I think that's subjective. I'm kind of following Tony Burt's idea and carrying it into the wind further. Now let's begin lightly sketching in a background. I'm going to put her in a grassy area with a tree, and also I'm only going to sketch in some grass along the ridge and the tree trunk. I'm not going to put branches or leaves or anything like that. We'll use our paint to fill that in. The other thing I'm going to make is a area for where I'm going to put some wording. You may not want to use topography in your drawing, but I am designating this little area, kind of like a little pondish area for the wording. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take and darken our charcoal lines. I use this product called from Pentel. It's out of Japan. It's wonderful. It contains water in it, and it's a paintbrush on top, and you don't have to keep dipping a paintbrush into water. You just give it a little squeeze when you want the water to flow, and it comes in all different types of tips, and I'm in love with this little product. Anyways, go over your lines and just don't get it too wet, but you just want to darken things. I have to tell you, this is a technique, this sketch is a technique taught by Tony Burt. She's wonderful, and if you go to her website, tonyburt.com, I think, you're going to find some great classes. And the idea is we learn from different art journalists or painters, and then we take it and own it and integrate it, and it becomes our own. And we weave together many, many different techniques. Anyways, as you can see, every time I draw over a line, it darkens. And if I get a smear or a smudge, I just wipe off the tip so that I keep the charcoal spreading to a minimum. And then I can clean it up by just using the water or blotting it with the paper towel. And to do shading, you just kind of spread the charcoal into the areas that you want to shade. This is a wonderful, wonderful product. I can't recommend it enough. So for the next 2 minutes, all you're going to do is watch me darkening my lines. I can't, for some reason, cut this video clip. It takes it all out. I'm just learning how to do this. All I want to do is share with you. I was telling my husband, oh my God, I don't know if this is meant for me to record these things and make tapes and videos and put them up on YouTube. But he said, you've always shared your creativity, so why wouldn't you share here? Anyways, if you want to fast forward, go to about 13 minutes and then we are at the end of the video. Until then, enjoy. Okay, so that about does it for this session. I'll see you in video 2.